All right, let's unpack this. You've given us quite the stack on the Bhagavad-Gita. It looks like you're looking for some serious spiritual insights, maybe even some answers to life's big questions. We've got excerpts from Ramananda Prasad's English translation, which seems like a great place to start, right?
Absolutely. And what's fascinating is that the Bhagavad-Gita isn't just some ancient text. It's surprisingly relevant even to modern life.
Totally. So ready for a deep dive?
Let's do it.
Okay, so to set the scene, we're on a battlefield. Big, epic, ancient battle about to go down.
Right, and right in the middle of it all is Arjuna, our main warrior. But get this, he's totally freaking out.
Yeah, not exactly the fearless warrior image we'd expect, huh?
No, he's got this inner battle raging. On the one hand, his duty is to fight, right? But then on the other hand, peace, man. He wants peace. It's killing him that he's about to face people he loves on the other side.
That's heavy. It's that classic dilemma, isn't it? What we feel we should do versus what we actually want to do.
Exactly. And that's where the Gita gets really deep. It starts exploring the nature of the self. This is where Krishna, Arjuna's charioteer, and let me tell you, this is no ordinary charioteer, he steps in to break it all down.
Okay, so less about chariots and more about life lessons.
Way more. So Krishna, he starts talking about this eternal spirit, the Purusha, and how it's totally different from, our bodies, our physical selves.
So, like, not denying that we exist in these bodies, but saying there's something deeper, bigger going on.
Exactly. And this Purusha, this true self, it can't be destroyed. Weapons can't cut it. Fire can't burn it. It's beyond all that. This is where the idea of reincarnation comes in.
Reincarnation, okay. So the soul keeps on going, takes on new bodies.
Like changing clothes, yeah.
Wow,
Right.
okay. So then the big question, if we're not just these physical bodies, then WHO are we? And how do we even begin to live our lives knowing that?
$1 million question, right. And the Gita offers some paths. One is karma yoga. It's about acting selflessly without being attached to the outcome.
Meaning, we do what's right, even if it's hard, even if we don't get anything out of it personally.
You got it. Imagine a soldier fighting a just war. Not for glory, but because it's the right thing to do.
Or even just helping a friend move, not because they're going to pay you back, but because it's the kind thing to do.
Perfect example. And that's where karma comes in. The idea that our actions, they have consequences. Selfish actions bind us, but selfless ones, those lead to liberation.
It's almost like every choice we make is planting a seed, right?
Right.
And those seeds, they'll grow into something eventually.
I like that. And then you've got these 3 gunas, sattva, rajas, and tapas.
They sound kind of mysterious. What are they exactly?
Think of them like fundamental forces. They affect everything. Our thoughts, actions, even what happens after we die. Sattva is all about goodness, peace, purity. Rajas, that's passion, restlessness, always on the go. And tamas, well, that's ignorance, darkness, being stuck.
Well, okay, so we're all a mix of these gunas, and they're constantly like pushing and pulling at us.
Exactly. Understanding these gunas can help us make better choices. And then, of course, there's this whole scene where Krishna reveals his true form to Arjuna.
Yeah, the cosmic vision thing. I've heard about that.
It's wild. Arjuna basically sees everything, all of creation, all these beings and worlds, all within Krishna. It's this dazzling, infinite display of power and how everything is connected.
It's almost like a metaphor for the potential inside each of us.
Right.
Or maybe even a glimpse of the ultimate reality, how we're all part of this bigger thing.
You got it. The Bhagavad-Gita doesn't hand us easy answers, but it gives us a way to explore those massive questions about ourselves and the universe. And that's pretty amazing.
It is, and that's what makes this deep dive so exciting, is it's just so much to uncover.
It's all about finding those tools, right? And the Gita's got plenty of them. Like, take this idea of controlling your senses. It uses this analogy, a tortoise pulling back into its shell.
Oh, I like that. So basically, shutting out all the distractions, turning inward.
You got it. It's tough, though, right? I mean, nowadays, it's like we're constantly bombarded with stuff. Social media, the news, everything.
It never ends. But you're saying real peace comes from within, not from chasing after all that external stuff.
Exactly. That's where things like meditation come in.
Makes sense. So we're not just slaves to our impulses and desires. We can actually, like, train our minds to be more focused, more peaceful.
Totally. And that's empowering, right? But does that mean we have to become, like, hermits living in caves? Renounce the world?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Not at all. The Gita is all about balance. It's moderation in everything. How much you eat, how much you sleep, even how you think and feel.
Like finding that sweet spot. Not overdoing it, but not depriving yourself either.
Exactly. And that brings us to this whole idea of a yogi. What comes to mind when you hear that word?
Honestly, Someone who can, like, bend themselves into a pretzel.
Haha, yeah, I get that. But the Gita's take on it is more about the inner state. A yogi is someone who's mastered themselves, someone who's tranquil, free from all those desires we were talking about.
So less about physical flexibility, more about mental and spiritual flexibility.
You got it. The Gita actually says a true yogi sees a lump of dirt, a rock, a gold bar, all is the same. They're not caught up in judging things.
Wow, okay. That's next level.
Mm-hmm.
But it takes work to get there, right?
For sure. Discipline, effort, surrender, those are key. It compares the mind to the wind, you know? Constantly moving, hard to control.
Tell me about it. My mind is like a monkey swinging from one thought to the next. But the Gita's not saying it's hopeless, is it?
Definitely not. Even if we mess up, even if we don't reach full liberation in this lifetime, it's not a waste. It's like we're planting seeds for the future, you know?
Okay, so our efforts carry over, even into the next life. That's kind of a relief, actually.
Oh.
And speaking of different lifetimes, it seems like the Gita is cool with there being multiple paths to get there, right?
Absolutely. It gets that people are different. It talks about karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, raja yoga. It's like a spiritual buffet, take what you like.
Love that.
Yeah.
So what are the main differences between these paths? Just to refresh my memory.
Sure. We've already touched on karma yoga, acting selflessly. Then there's bhakti yoga, all about cultivating love and devotion to a personal god. Jnana yoga is the path of knowledge using study and contemplation to really understand reality.
Okay, and Raja Yoga. That one always sounds kind of mysterious.
It's the path of meditation, controlling your mind and senses, like breath work, things like that. The goal is that deep inner peace, that union with the divine.
Got it. So different paths, different approaches, but all leading to the same ultimate goal.
Yeah, pretty much. The Gita emphasizes that you can practice them individually or combine them. The important thing is finding what resonates with you and doing it with sincerity.
And it seems like faith plays a big role in this whole thing.
Right. Huge. The Gita is all about faith. Faith in the teachings, faith in the path, faith in the divine. Without it, it's tough to make progress. Doubt can really hold us back.
It's like faith is the fuel.
Yeah.
Right? It gives us the energy to keep going. But it's not blind faith, is it?
No, not at all. It encourages questioning, seeking understanding. You build your faith through experience and wisdom.
It's a process then. Believing, questioning, experiencing, growing. And it all seems to come back to this idea of surrender, right? Letting go of our ego and that need to control everything.
You nailed it. Surrender is huge in the Gita. It's recognizing that we're not the puppet masters, you know? There's a higher power at work.
And by surrendering to that power, we find peace, liberation.
Exactly. It's about aligning yourself with the divine will, doing your best, but letting go of the outcome.
It's like we're dancing to the music, but we're not the ones calling the tune.
Perfect analogy. And, you know, the Gita offers some really powerful words for people who are struggling, those who feel lost, hopeless, maybe burdened by past mistakes. It says even the most sinful person can find liberation through devotion to Krishna.
That's a pretty powerful message of hope. No matter what you've done, there's a way back.
Exactly. It speaks to the immense compassion of the divine, that no one is beyond redemption. And, you know, another thing that a lot of people struggle with is the fear of death. The Gita offers a different perspective on that, too.
Yeah, how so?
It basically says death isn't the end. It's more like a transition, shedding an old outfit for a new one. The soul keeps going.
So the focus is on the eternal spirit, not the physical body, which eventually, wears out.
Exactly. That shift in perspective can really help us face death with less fear.
It makes you think about how you're living, right?
Yeah.
Like, are you living a life that feels aligned with your purpose so you can move on to that next stage with a sense of peace?
Absolutely. The Gita encourages us to live each day with awareness, with purpose, with gratitude, knowing that our actions, they have consequences, both now and in the future.
Like planting seeds for a future harvest.
Yeah.
And the Gita also says we have free will, right? We get to choose our path.
For sure. We're not puppets on a string. We choose our thoughts, our actions, and ultimately our destiny. But that also comes with responsibility.
Right, because our choices have consequences.
Yeah.
But we're not alone in this, are we?
No way. The Gita reminds us that we have the support of the divine. We can draw strength from the teachings, from a community of like-minded people.
It's like having a spiritual support system.
Exactly. And it stresses the importance of patience and perseverance. The spiritual journey, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
So pace yourself, keep your eye on the prize, and enjoy the journey.
Well said. And you know, one of the most mind-blowing things the Gita describes is the nature of the divine itself. Krishna, he's the ultimate reality, the source of everything, the sustainer of the universe. It's kind of a lot to wrap your head around.
Yeah, my brain's doing backflips just trying to imagine it.
He's everywhere and everything, and yet beyond all limitations, it's both personal, like a god we can connect with, and impersonal, this vast, all-encompassing force.
So how do we even begin to grasp that?
Through devotion, through surrender. It's about recognizing that spark of the divine within ourselves and in everything around us. And one of the most beautiful things about the Gita, I think, is its message of universal love and acceptance.
Tell me more about that.
It says the divine is in everyone no matter what. Social status, gender, past actions, none of that matters. Krishna sees all beings equally. Anyone can achieve liberation.
That's a pretty powerful message of inclusivity, especially in today's world where it feels like everything is about division. The Gita is saying we're all connected, all worthy of love and respect.
Exactly. And you know, speaking of seeing things differently, the Gita talks about this incredible vision that Arjuna has. Krishna reveals his cosmic form to them. It's one of the most famous parts of the text.
Yeah, remind me about that. What exactly does he see?
Picture this. The entire universe, everything, contained within one being. Arjuna sees countless worlds, beings, all these celestial events, all woven together in Krishna's form. It's about showing how everything's connected, the vastness of creation, the power of the divine.
Whoa. Talk about putting things in perspective.
Right. Makes our daily worries seem kind of small, huh?
Yeah.
It's a reminder that we're part of something much bigger.
Could also be a metaphor, right? Like maybe it's pointing to that infinite potential, that spark of the divine that's within each of us.
Totally. The Gita loves using metaphors. It's asking us to look deeper, beyond the surface. Maybe that cosmic vision is really about the vastness and interconnectedness within our own consciousness.
Wow. So we each have a universe inside us. That's pretty mind-blowing.
Right. And the Gita is all about encouraging us to explore that, to tap into our potential.
Mm.
It's not just about these lofty spiritual concepts. It's also about how we live our lives day to day.
It's practical then.
Very practical. It talks about developing qualities like self-control, discipline, compassion, forgiveness. It gives you actual advice on how to do that, how to overcome the stuff that's holding you back.
So it's like a toolbox for personal growth.
I like that.
Yeah.
It gives you the tools to transform yourself from the inside out. And it all starts with understanding your own mind. The Gita really emphasizes that.
So the mind is like the key.
It's like a chariot, and your senses are the horses. If you don't have control of the reins, those horses are going to run wild, take you all over the place.
Yeah, you're not going to get very far if you're not in control.
Exactly. The Gita is all about training that mind, quieting it down, focusing it on the divine. Things like meditation can help.
So it's not enough to just want to be a better person.
Mm,
You have to put in the effort, practice that mental discipline.
exactly. It's not always easy. The Gita admits that. The mind's a tricky thing. But with practice, you can master it. Find that inner peace.
Okay, that's good to know. Because I think a lot of people struggle with that, feeling like their mind's always going a million miles an hour. And it sounds like the Gita's view of liberation is pretty broad, right? It's not just about escaping this cycle of birth and death.
It's about freedom on multiple levels. Freedom from suffering, from fear, from attachment, from the limitations of your ego. It's about aligning yourself with the divine will, letting go of the need to control everything.
So true freedom comes from within.
Exactly. And one of the coolest things about the Gita is how it emphasizes the importance of living a life of purpose. It's not just about existing, eating, sleeping. It's about finding your unique role in the universe, your dharma.
Like everyone's got their own special mission. That's pretty cool.
Right. The Gita wants you to figure out what your dharma is, what your unique gifts are, and use them to make the world a better place.
So it's not just about your own personal journey. It's about making a difference.
Exactly. Our actions have ripple effects. What we do impacts others. And it's not about depriving yourself of all worldly pleasures either. It's about balance, finding joy in both your spiritual and worldly pursuits.
So enjoy life, but live it with purpose. I like that.
And do it with gratitude.
Yeah.
Appreciate the beauty around you, the simple things. The Gita is all about that.
It's like rediscovering that childlike sense of wonder, right?
Yeah.
Seeing the world with fresh eyes. I think we could all use a little more of that. It's cool how the Gita doesn't just tell you what to do, but it explains the why behind it.
Yeah, you're not just blindly following rules, you're understanding the deeper reasons behind them.
It's like, oh, okay, now I get how everything connects.
Right, like with the gunas. Remember sattva, rajas, tamas. The Gita explains how actions driven by those gunas have different results. They affect your karma, which in turn shapes your future.
Like a cosmic cause and effect system.
Exactly. And it's not just about individual liberation. It also talks about how to create a better society.
So it's bigger than just me and my own journey?
Definitely. The Gita emphasizes that we're all connected and that we should use our unique talents for the greater good. It's about fulfilling your role, contributing to a society based on dharma.
So it's like everyone's got their part to play in making things run smoothly.
Exactly. And here's where it gets even more interesting. The Gita's take on the human body.
Okay, I'm curious. Tell me more.
It describes the body as a temple, a sacred vessel for the soul. It explains how all the different parts, your senses, your mind, your intellect, they all work together to let you experience the world.
Like a super sophisticated vehicle for the soul.
Yeah. And the Gita even gives advice on how to take care of that vehicle, how to purify and refine it so it can help you grow spiritually.
So, not neglecting your body, but treating it with respect, almost like a tool for spiritual evolution.
You got it. And it even goes into how your diet and lifestyle choices affect your spiritual journey. Some things can help cultivate those sattvic qualities, while others might increase rajas or tamas.
It's like choosing the right fuel for your spiritual engine.
Perfect analogy. By making conscious choices about what you eat and how you live, you create an environment that supports your growth.
It makes you realize how everything's connected, right?
Yep.
Even the little everyday choices matter.
Absolutely. Spiritual practice isn't just something you do for an hour a day, it's about how you live your whole life.
Bringing spirituality into the world, not escaping from it.
Exactly. And one of the most inspiring things about the Gita is its message of hope. No matter who you are, what you've done, you have the potential for liberation.
It's like everyone gets a chance, a ticket to the cosmic party.
I love that. The Gita's all about inclusivity. The path to the divine is open to all.
That's a message we really need to hear these days. It's a reminder that everyone has value, everyone deserves a chance.
And speaking of amazing things, the Gita describes the divine as this incredible source of light, both inside us and out in the world.
Like the sun, giving light and warmth to everything.
Exactly. Krishna is described as that supreme light, the source of all knowledge and bliss. It's about turning towards that light, letting it guide you.
Like opening a window and letting the sunshine in.
And it's not some far-off, abstract thing. It's a living presence you can connect with through love and devotion.
So it's about building a relationship with the divine.
Yeah, seeing the divine in everything, feeling its presence in your heart. You can communicate with it through prayer, meditation, service to others.
It's like having a best friend, a constant source of support.
And speaking of support, the Gita knows that the spiritual path can be tough. But you're not alone. You can draw strength from the divine, from the teachings, from other people who are on the same journey.
Like a spiritual support group.
Exactly. Find teachers, connect with people, learn from each other, and remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Be patient, persevere.
So don't get discouraged if you hit a roadblock. Just keep going, one step at a time.
Exactly. Keep your eye on the prize, and you'll get there.
And remember to enjoy the journey along the way.
Exactly. The Gita is not a book you read once and forget about. It's something you can keep coming back to throughout your whole life.
A constant source of wisdom and inspiration.
Exactly. Keep exploring it, pondering it, and living it. Who knows what you might discover?
This has been an amazing deep dive. So much to think about. Thanks for joining us on this exploration of the Bhagavad-Gita. Until next time, keep your minds open and your hearts full.